From CCTV footage of a doctor potentially killing her own father by pulling the IV line, to a man recording live footage of his apartment being set on fire. These are just 2 of the 4 videos we'll be looking at. Without further ado, let's observe the Ashwood apartment fire video. On July 30th, 2020, an apartment building in Chester County named Ashwood Apartments would catch on fire as 45 units and 100 residents were left with nothing after the incident. The fire began at around 7:20 p.m. in the evening, and as shown through the footage, it's incredibly disturbing. A total of 31 fire departments responded that night to stop the fire from escalating even more, and temporary housing was provided to those in need. 4 residents and 2 first responders were injured. However, despite the horrific scene, they all managed to survive, and thankfully, no one else was hurt. After nearly 3 months of investigation, it was determined that Toni Kirk, a resident in the apartment, intentionally set her own apartment number 315 on fire. Court documents revealed that she was the first person to immediately leave her apartment after the fire, but she blamed another person for setting it off. Now, of course, this was looked into, and it didn't take that long for officials to determine that, well, she was lying. It was later determined that the fire originated in the living room on a mattress. A victim reported hearing a loud bang, and when they opened their door to investigate, they explained that they saw Toni Kirk outside her apartment as smoke was coming out of it. All of this evidence was used against her, and in the end, she was eventually charged with 250 counts of reckless endangerment, 3 counts of aggravated assault, and 7 counts of simple assault. She was also arrested in October 2020 and has remained in jail ever since. Her bail was set to $2.5 million. Now at first, this was deemed controversial. Some argued that it was too harsh and that since no one died, she really shouldn't be charged that much. But others argued that her actions were malicious and she put 100 people's lives in danger. The bail was finally settled after both parties agreed that it would be set to $900,000 in cash. As of today, there's still no official motive on why she did this. Now, regarding the footage, a majority of it was documented by the media and by a few residents that show the aftermath. While these videos are tough to watch, a resident of the apartment who goes by the online persona, Jeff and Katz, documented a live recording of the fire. I got into contact with Jeff and he shared more information on what happened. So before we go on, I would like to thank you, Jeff, for being so open on sharing your experiences and for even allowing me to show the footage in the first place. At the start of the video, we see Jeff and his father clearly showing distress as they're leaving their apartment and wondering what has caused the fire. Before the recording even started, he explained that he and his dad were walking around the building and he described it as a little prophetic, as it would be the last time they got to look at the building before it eventually burned down. At the 4-minute mark, they made the decision to go back into the building to save their cat and possibly a couple of belongings. It was at this moment that they didn't expect too much of what was happening, since they expected it was going to be a small fire. A few more minutes later, and we see how drastic the fire and smoke has spread across the building. Another resident is shown stuck looking through their window as they've been trapped in their apartment.
Go across the hallway.
Oh, there's someone right there. Look, there's someone right there.
Yeah, no, they can't get out. Oh, crap.
20 minutes into the footage, and the situation went from bad to worse, as a small set of fire has now surrounded the entire building, with the smoke becoming much larger. It was also during this time that the man questioned whether or not this was done on purpose.
I think this was done on purpose.
I do too.
This had to be done on purpose. It couldn't have gotten like this.
With the given background information beforehand, this statement is pretty chilling, as we the viewer know exactly what's going to happen next. And just 2 minutes later, they learn that someone set their bed on fire.
The one lady said somebody set their bed on fire.
Yeah, but did they do it on purpose or on accident?
As we continue to watch the video, you may have noticed that not a whole ton of water was sprayed when the fire was at its peak, and this concerned both men in the video and some of the commenters. As explained in the comment section, it was stated that there wasn't any recent routine check on the hydrants, so when the firemen arrived at the scene, they discovered that there wasn't any water or pressure. Prior to the incident, many of the residents weren't too fond of the landlord. As noted by Jeff, cops were frequently coming in and out of the Ashwood apartments due to drug dealers and disturbances from former residents. There were also no fire sprinklers in the apartment, which was another downside. Because of this, they had to go down to the nearest lake to obtain some water, which was around 100 feet away. Towards the end of the video, Jeff is seen in a hotel room. He talks about what both his father and himself have just witnessed. All of his belongings were destroyed, but he was able to upload the video using his mom's computer. 2 other videos were uploaded a week after the incident, and they were able to go back to the Ashwood apartments to see what remained. Going back to the original video, what made it so unsettling was the raw, uncensored footage. It was a total of 30 minutes, and as every minute goes by, distress is shown in both men as they talk about all the things they've lost and wondered what's going to happen next. Despite it being a nerve-wracking video, they both managed to stay surprisingly calm even though their entire house and valuables are taken away from them due to someone else's actions. That's what I believe to be the true horror in the video. In September 2015, this shocking CCTV footage was recorded in India after it showed a woman attempting to murder her 82-year-old father by pulling his ICU plug. The woman, Jayasada Manoharan, who was also a doctor, forcibly took her father's thumbprints on a set of papers to confirm that he would be taken off life support. The entire act was caught on camera and showcased a disturbing scene. Once all the family members were in the room, she would ask the nurses to leave. Little did they know, things were about to get serious. After getting the thumbprints and getting her father to sign the documents, she quickly removed the IV line. Shortly after, blood could be seen splattering on the floor, but no one else seems to notice beside Jayasada. The father would then start to complain and was suffering due to not being hooked up. At this point, Jayasada and her brothers would evacuate as soon as they could. The nurses noticed what happened and caught it just in time to save him. What's even worse about this clip is that she left the room and acted like nothing happened. One of the nurses even followed them outside and seemed aggravated about the situation, and they likely knew that one of them pulled the plug. Jayasada's father would shortly pass away 1 month later on November 2nd, 2015. The son's father, who was present in the room, filed a complaint and stated that Jayasada's actions caused the father's death. He also owned a hospital where this took place, and he demanded that not only herself, but her husband and son to be removed from the medical rolls. He filed the complaint in February 2016, but no action was taken until August 2016, when the footage became public and more attention was brought onto the situation. Through investigation, she was charged with attempted murder and gross medical negligence. Her doctor's license was thankfully taken away. Santa 1991 is an obscure YouTube video all the way from 2011. It starts off as expected, showcasing a Christmas-themed video with a grainy VHS effect throughout the entirety of the video and almost gives it some sort of a Christmas memory look. But after seeing what happens, you're going to realize that this isn't your regular Christmas home footage. Throughout the first couple of minutes, you get the vibe that this is a home Christmas video. It takes a quick turn, however, when you finally get to see Santa on the roof carrying a poultry knife. He then enters the house and starts to decorate one of the rooms, while, of course, eating his cookies and milk. After that, we see a man named Steve go downstairs while he is using crutches. Santa then scares him, which knocks him off into the couch. The music cuts and Santa starts stabbing the man, and while it's not entirely not safe for work, the grainy camera footage, bits of blood splatter, and the great acting is what makes this video unsettling. It's a well done homemade horror flick, and honestly, I always enjoyed these types of videos, and I'm glad I got to see this. Not the killing, but just the footage in general, you guys know what I mean. Towards the end, Santa starts to chop away at the man's leg and eats pieces of it. Out of nowhere, another man named Jim walks into the room and asks what's going on. Santa explains that this is the last Christmas he'll ever see.
What's going on here?
It's the last Christmas you'll ever see. Dad!
He's Santa, not me!
And aggressively starts biting his neck and removing tissues from his body. The last scene of the clip shows a woman named Rachel walking into the room and panicking after seeing what happened to both Steve and Jim. Unexpectedly, Rachel then starts eating the remaining parts of Jim's body, with the video abruptly ending there. This was oddly terrifying, and honestly, looking through the comment section, the commenter Pickle has the best comment. As they stated, imagine a little kid accidentally seeing this. They'd be traumatized. If I saw this when I was younger, I'd probably still have nightmares over it. The Catman of Greenock is a bit of a mystery, and it was difficult to find a clear story of his origins. However, I'll talk about the most commonly believed story. So, this is the Catman of Greenock. The legend goes that many children would see a man covered in what seems to be like coal and has bright yellow eyes. He would often be seen at night around bushes or dumpsters looking for rats or anything to scavenge on. He also couldn't walk on his feet, so he was commonly seen crawling. The Catman was given the name due to rumors that he lived with a group of cats. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. But, a video would be posted on YouTube showcasing the man. This was the first ever video of the Catman uploaded on YouTube. Throughout the years, it has garnered attention. Even the original uploader had to say this about the post. Can't believe how much attention my video is getting. This is old footage from 2006-2007. I really hope he has gotten the support he needs now. He is a very famous and legendary resident here. He always appeared happy enough in himself, and the situation was very harmless. Not sure what became of him. There haven't been many recent sightings, with the comment being posted from 4 years ago. The widespread attention led many to question who he was, where he even came from in the first place, and whether or not this was some sort of a troll. Well, the most popular theory is that the Catman was once a Russian sailor who got stranded in Scotland during the 1970s due to poor mental health and fighting with other crew members. Without any family or money, he had to stay on the streets to survive. Now, when it comes to his legs and why he can't walk, it was theorized that he got into a bad situation with the mob, so they broke his legs. And others suggested that a group of kids saw him one night, and they got scared by him. In this case, they broke his legs because they thought that he was going to harm them. According to those who have met and interacted with the Catman, they have said that despite him being a strange man, he's completely harmless. There have been times where he has responded to people using simple gestures. However, he's unable to speak. Despite usually staying in the same general area in Greenock, the Catman has been known to disappear from time to time, but has always returned. Another theory is that he's doing this all for attention. As mentioned, it's been noted that he disappears for some time, and that's when people have suggested that during those times, he returns back to his normal life. Also, it's been reported that he has physically resisted any medical help or treatment. He's also avoided being taken to a shelter, which just further backs up the theory. The last time he's been seen through footage was in the summer of 2017. But we're not done there. A third theory suggests that the Catman is still alive at the residence of Greenock. However, it's been argued that the man they have been seeing is simply an imposter. The last image of him ever taken was in March of 2017. The last update on this page was in 2020, with the post asking if Catman was still alive. There are still people commenting on this page and on YouTube videos regarding him, saying that they have seen him out in the public recently, but they all have provided little to no context.